Hey guys, what's going on? Carter here. We're going to take a closer look at this Hogue Extreme, and it is pretty extreme, EX-03, I believe is a model number. I mentioned in the unboxing video I used to own an EX-01, which is basically very similar to this, but it had green Damascus scales, and it was not an automatic. It was a Tanto, and it had stonewashed blade, and I think it was a 3.5 inch. This is a 4. So let's take a look at some of the features on this knife. Basically, this is a alternative version, I want to say, of the EX-01. Main difference being the handle. This is a high temperature polymer plastic frame, and it's a one-piece construction, as you can see there. So no body screws holding two sides together. That's the main difference between this and the EX-01, which has the Damascus, which is basically G10 scales holding it together. Now, because of this construction, you have a few differences. One, it's lighter. Obviously, it's going to affect kind of the way it feels, but this is a very light material. There is nothing inside here. It is just solid polymer right here. And it's also going to be cheaper. So this is, well, not the auto version, but the non-auto version is cheaper than the EX-01. So let's take a look at what we have going on here. This is the automatic version. So how this differs from the non-automatic version is this comes with a black coated blade, which the non-automatic version, the manual version, I guess is easier to say, does not. It comes in stonewash. You cannot get the black coated blade in the manual version, and it's a nice coating. I'm not sure what it is. I couldn't find in the literature. It seems like DLC. It's a nice non-glare matte finish, so not a cheesy shiny Teflon type coating. I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up, but it definitely looks really nice. I love the look of that. And I mentioned in the other video, you can see that edge, that polished edge. I really love it when knife makers do that. I did not strop this. I have not sharpened this. This is from the factory. You know, it looks like a wicked edge on there. It's done absolutely perfect too. Perfect bevels. Everything is even on both sides. You can tell that this is the Tanto blade. Very thick stock. All the way to the tip. Although it doesn't have as thick of a tip as you see on some Tantos. It's still fairly robust, but you still get this like super point right there. That thing is vicious. Button plunge lock mechanism. So unlike the manual version, this is locked in the closed position. The manual version, you would actually be able to open it. You would have a thumb stud right here. This is actually locked in the closed position. You have a safety. One thing I noticed with this is much better safety retention. Nice stiff activation, whatever. Compared to the EX-01 I had, it was kind of a little too easy to engage and disengage. And so what would happen is you would go to unlock the knife and maybe accidentally lock it, and then you can't press the button to unlock it. So when the lock's engaged, you cannot fire the knife. You have to unlock it. As you can see, it fires very well. You definitely feel it. For such a large 4-inch blade, it sure fires open really nice. Lockup on this thing is like a bank vault. Up, down, left, right, absolutely no play. And it just flies open and locks into place. In my unboxing video, I made mention how it was kind of bouncing off and kind of acting a little funky. That's because out of the box, it was a tad bit loose side to side. Just a tad bit, so I just tightened that up a little bit, and that provided enough resistance that it does not bounce off of the stop pin anymore. It fires perfectly. Ergos on this, excellent, really good. Feels great. I mentioned before, this jimping is just really awesome. Nice big pivot in there. Love the pocket clip. It's a spoon style, similar to what's on the VECP. Goes in and out of the pocket really well. I did carry this. Nice matte finish on the pocket clip as well. You have a lanyard hole. It's quite small, so it's really hard to get 550 ungutted cord through there, but I did get this cord through there. I know it doesn't match, but whatever. I didn't have any black cord on me, so it is what it is. You know, fairly deep carry. I mean, it's really carries really good. You have a skull crusher or glass breaker here. Of course, this is the Polymer, so I'm not sure how well that would actually work. But then again, who uses a glass breaker or a skull crusher to do either of those things? Not very many people, but I'd imagine it would be somewhat effective if you were to use it that way. It looks cool too. I like the way that looks. Perfectly centered. Just a really, really awesome knife. One thing that's really cool about this in terms of autos and button locks is if you get into side opening automatics, what you're going to be dealing with is a whole lot of T6 aluminum. And at first it's really cool, but then it gets really old. Just about every automatic is going to have aluminum handles because it facilitates the manufacturing process. In order to make the mechanism work, you need a hard surface to put the mechanism in, to put the button in. Everything has to line up perfectly, so it's just easier to use aluminum, which is lightweight, fairly inexpensive, easy to work with. So a lot of manufacturers do it. So it's nice to get an auto that doesn't have an aluminum handle. And how they do that is it actually has steel inserts, like roughly about this whole area on both sides. Steel inserts inside here. It fits inside pockets that are molded into this this plastic, this polymer. And how they get that in there is boggling my mind. I have no idea how these things are assembled. Being one-piece construction, you obviously cannot take them apart. It's hard enough putting an automatic together when you can take the scales apart. I have no idea how this thing is put together. There's multiple springs inside here, and as you can see, there's no room for play. There's no, I have no idea how these things are constructed. However Hogue does it, bless them, because I have no idea how they put this thing together. I mean, even, I don't know, but I don't know. I guess it's just really precise order of operations. I'm assuming that this handle has to be completely cast and constructed before anything goes in it, so it's got to be completely done. So somehow they slide everything in there and put it into place and get it to work. Now, so this knife technically does not come from Hogue like this. These are specially made by Hogue and then sent to Allen, who's the designer, Elishewitz, sent to his company, and they're the ones that actually do the automatic conversion. I'm assuming the reason for that is licensure. You've got to have certain licenses in order to manufacture automatic knives. So I'm guessing that Hogue either can't or don't want to get that. So a separate company, I think it's Elishewitz Company or Enterprises or something, gets these special made from Hogue, and then they do the conversion on the knives. Really cool knife. I think it's definitely worth the money. These retail for the 4-inch version about $200. The 3.5 inch is about $160, $175. So if you can legally get these, I would definitely look into it. What this knife reminds me of is a Glock, and I think it has to do with the textured polymer frame. This feels a lot like a Glock frame with this nice matte black, which reminds me of kind of the slide and everything else that's on a Glock. So this thing just screams Glock to me, which is really cool. I think it looks really nice, the black on black. You can also get this with a brown handle. It's kind of a tannish brown, but all of the autos have a black coated blade. And of course you can also get the drop point blade, which is nice as well. I have a manual version coming, which is the opposite of this. It's a 4-inch, but it's the stonewash drop point with the brown handle, so it'll be a nice contrast. Any downsides to this at all would possibly be balance issues. The handle is quite light. The blade, being a Tanto, is quite heavy, but you get used to it pretty early on, and it adds to the kick factor of it as well, which is pretty cool. But keep that in mind. It is a little different than a lot of knives. The balance point is about right here, but it definitely feels, you notice it. You notice because it's so light back here and then weight here. I imagine the drop point alleviates that a tad. But thanks for watching, guys. Here's a look at this really cool auto. I will catch you on the next video. See